Okay, it looks like we're live. There we go. So for class tonight, if you've got props that you like for, a more restorative or yin style class, those will be helpful. You might have two blocks, a blanket, or a bolster pillow of some kind, anything that just kind of gives you some more space off the ground. So go ahead and have those close by if you've got them. And we'll get started in child's pose tonight. So go ahead and bring your shins down. Knees can be wide or closer together. You might play around with the position of what feels best. If you've got any music, mellow, light tunes, maybe the deep focus playlist on Spotify or something, you can play that in the background. Just start to get settled. Find a place of comfort. If your forehead is hovering off the earth, you might bring a block or a blanket underneath. That way you can really press your forehead center, your third eye space down into a hard surface. Maybe take a couple gentle rocks of the forehead side to side. Our focus tonight, this week, is prajna, which is intuitive knowing that exists within you at all times. So your third eye center being that space of deep knowing. Using this pose to connect to what is already within you. Start to notice your breath. How does it feel flowing in and out? As your awareness settles on your breath, you might choose to lengthen the rhythm, or you might choose to maintain your spontaneous, automatic sahaja breath. And whatever you choose will come from that deep place of knowing. On your next in-breath, we'll walk the hands over to the left side of the mat, getting a stretch through your right side body, your right waist, your right rib cage. You might even push the hips back and over to the right a little bit as you reach to the left. Letting your breath fill your whole right side body. Stay for about 3 more cycles of breath on this side. And then crawl through center and stretch the hands over to the right edge of the mat. This time with the focus on your left side, you might even push the left hips over and back to the left. Breathe in one final round here. Breathe out. Go ahead and crawl back through center and then come up to a tabletop position. Moving slowly, intuitively here, just a couple cycles of cat and cow. For the end of a Monday, I think this undulation of the spine can feel really nice. Just moving slowly, thoughtfully. Finish out this cycle. We'll set up for deer pose, which is kind of a different take on pigeon. So I can offer you all the props for this. What we'll do is set up with your left shin parallelish to the long edge of your mat. And both knees are going to be about 90 degrees in angle. So the left hip will be externally rotated, the right hip will be internally rotated. Kind of set up in this cheerleader posture. This is where a pillow or a bolster will come possibly in handy. You could even stack the blocks up underneath the bolster to offer lots and lots of space here. Because we'll start to twist toward the front short edge of the mat. So first, just take that little twist, squaring off the shoulders and see what's going on in the hips, see what's going on in the spine. And your right hip will pop up off the ground more than likely. Then you can take this into a fold. So letting whatever you've got fully support you. Either cheek can come down. If you want to make this a little more intense and twist also the cervical spine, then the right cheek would plant. So take a couple of moments to fidget, to find how this pose is going to work in your body tonight. And then settle in to stillness. So as we consider the theme, the idea of prajna, it's really this knowing that can only be gleaned from within you. It is always there. But it is accessible only when you're brave enough, confident enough to sit with it, to listen, to reflect. offer ourselves this slower restorative style practice to counteract the busyness of each day, the praise of productivity, the constant go, go, go. And it's really in these quiet spaces, the spaces between all of the things you have to do and think about. And those are the times when our deep feelings, bhava from last week, and our deep knowing, prajna, really start to shine through. Offer yourself about 5 more rounds of breath, seeing if you can melt any further into this shape. When you're ready in your own time, no rush. Start to gently press into the hands, lift the torso to come out of the pose. Just swap over to the second side. So you can swing your legs around, maybe leave your cups right where they're at. Now right shin coming to the other long edge of the mat. Left leg internally rotating. And setting up for this side. Start to initiate that twist first. Maybe notice if the angle of your legs need to change. You need to move anything out of the way. And then you can start to melt down. Again, the invitation for either cheek to come down. It will be a little bit more intense, stretching and twisting if your left cheek is down. So fidget around as needed for these first few moments. Find the shape, the angles that'll work. You just stay here for the next about 4 minutes. Often as challenges arise, we often look outside of ourselves for the answers, whether that be calling a parent, Googling, whatever it may be. We look to others for the answer. So now's our chance to cultivate the knowing that we have the answers. That if we sit with the challenge, with the question at hand, that the answer that we know to be true will emerge. And it might be a whisper, it might be a roar. And so we have to practice listening, sitting still long enough for it to shine through. If you notice your thoughts start to trail off in the silence of the poses, just gently invite the awareness back. Stay for about 5 more breaths. Softening as far into the shape as you can. And as you're ready, slowly press the hands down to lift the torso. Coming out slowly and carefully. We'll set up next for Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So 2 options here. You can either bring the heels in close towards your pubic bone, or I recommend maybe a little gentler version of taking the feet out a little wider forward, creating more of a diamond shape. You might place blocks underneath the outer parts of your legs, or you might create a shelf with your blocks or your pillows for your forehead. Go ahead and start to round into this pose. No need to worry about keeping a flat spine or lowering as low as you can. Know that as time goes on and the posture, gravity will help you out with that. If you can, find your forehead, your third eye center on a surface. If a surface is not available for you, just bring the awareness to the third eye. Carl Jung said, those who look outside dream, and those who look inside awaken. So maybe for a portion of this class, your focus settle on some of the wisdom that you have, some of the intuitive knowing is already within you, tapping into that space. We're about halfway through the pose, so if you need to adjust any props to a lower setting to let gravity do its magic, you can do that now. See if you can relax a little bit more through the legs here. Using your exhale to soften. Stay for 5 more rounds of breath. And gently, no rush. Start to press yourself back up to seated. And then a couple of options for this next pose, and you can feel free to try on the options as you get there. We'll take it down to our backs. For a supported fish, a little chest opening, I'm going to recommend a blanket as the softest option. It'll be the least amount of bending. If you've got a thicker pillow, you could use that, or a block would be the most opening and the most intense. And you can keep the legs either in the butterfly shape or they can stretch out long. And you'll just start to lower your back yourself down onto whatever you have got. A blanket works really nice in the upper middle part of the spine. If you've got a pillow or bolster, it might lay all the way back so your head rests on it as well. Just recommend having your head on a surface and not floating in space. So pick whatever works for you and then invite yourself to settle into the stillness. Letting the body drape down, softening the muscles in your legs. Relaxing the abdomen. Letting your arms be supported by the ground beneath you. Finally softening the muscles in your face, your jaw, your brow bone. Settling that awareness back into the third eye, the place of intuition, wisdom, and knowing. We're just here for about 1 more minute. If the legs are in butterfly shape and that's becoming a lot on the hips or in their thighs, you might stretch them out long for the remainder of the pose. If you do make any adjustments or wiggles, just settle back in. Finish out this next cycle of breath before gently removing any props you've got under your spine. We'll set up for Shavasana. So lots of prop options here. You might take a blanket underneath your head and the top, just the slight top of your shoulders. You might offer a bolster pillow underneath your knees. Maybe blocks or books underneath your hands. Make this as supportive as you want, as supportive as you need tonight. Once you've found your version of Shavasana, Just take a breath in and exhale to melt down onto the ground, onto the props. Close your eyes. Come into stillness, into rest, remembering that the spaces between our thoughts, spaces between the busyness of the days, is where we can really tap into the deepest places that exist within us, the deepest knowing. Gently start to bring awareness back to your body, to your breath. We'll move into a short meditation to close out the practice. If you'd like to remain on your backs or in the position you're in now, you're more than welcome to stay exactly as you are. If you would prefer to come up to a seat, and ever so slowly start to make that transition. Whichever option is calling to you, it's coming from a place of intuitively knowing what you need right now. So settle into whatever posture you've chosen. Take a sip of air in through your nose and just exhale, sigh it out. Once again, let the body, the muscles be calm, relaxed, settled. And then consider a question or challenge that you have in your life right now. Something that you're seeking wisdom on, seeking guidance. No matter how big or small, just bring it to your mind's focus. And then imagine a person, someone trusted and wise. Maybe it's a teacher, a friend, a historical figure, maybe even a fictional character, just someone that you know is very wise. And bring that person to sit in front of you, looking at them and them looking back. Pose this question, this challenge, whatever is going on, pose this to them. And receive any thoughts, any images. Listen to any guidance coming forward. And then pause to realize this is coming from within you. That figure you imagined is just a reflection. It's you looking back at yourself. Realizing that you do have the answers, you have everything you need already within you. So sitting for a moment in stillness and silence to connect with that deeper knowing, to cultivate this practice of tapping into that space. Slowly invite your awareness back to your breath, back to your physical body. If you're still on your back, slowly start to awaken in time, in your own way, rising up to a seat. Keep your eyes closed or heavy, and then as you get there, draw your hands in to touch prayer, heart center. Breath in and a breath out. And a reminder as you walk off your mat, back into your day, back into your week, that you have everything you need within you, and that you just have to be brave enough to listen. Mindfully, we lift our thumbs to third eye center, that space in between and just above your eyebrows, your space of intuition, your space of knowing, space where your physical body meets with your divine being. And we'll bow forward to seal the practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.